Webhooks are a great way to pass information around. They're an event-driven action. So when something happens, a webhook can be sent. And when that webhook is sent, we can catch that webhook and do something with it. The webhook includes what's called a payload, which is a bunch of information about that event. It could be a name, location, date, all kinds of information, but it just depends on who is sending the webhook, which platform. So in this video, what we're going to cover is an example use case that I'm actually using, where we take a person who adds their name and email address to get the Zapier Fundamentals course. And I want to take that information and put it inside of my CRM by catching a webhook. So let's jump in and take a look at how that works. So here I have my funnel for the Zapier Fundamentals course. And at the bottom here, you see I'm talking about webhooks and how to use webhooks in Zapier. So what my goal is that when somebody comes here and they click on Unlock Video Training and they add their name here and their email, Jim at Test, and then they hit the button that says notify me when the course is available. I want to get this information into my CRM. I use Daylite as a CRM, and I have a test user in here that I already added earlier, but the idea is that this person would get added here automatically. And I'll go over later on in this video why this filters on last name equals X. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then if I come over to my funnel, you'll see that I've got different pages. This is the landing page. And what I want to do is go up to here in automations. I'm using Systeme.io for my funnel. And under automations, we have rules here. And if you see here, I have one rule already. Let me click into this. So that when somebody adds their name and email to that funnel, they are tagged with Zapier Fundamentals lead. And that's my way of knowing where this person came from. But I want to add on to this by adding a webhook. So what I'm going to do is let's actually go to Zapier at this point. And let's create a new Zap. And I want to start this off with a webhook. And we want to catch a webhook. So what we're doing is when someone enters their name and email address, that sends a webhook. Systeme.io sends a webhook, and this is where we're going to catch it. So I'm going to choose catch, continue. And now what Zapier does is it makes a unique webhook, and what I'm going to do is copy that. Now I'm going to go back to Systeme.io, and I'm going to click this plus button to add an action. We have lots of different things we can do here. The one I want is send webhook. And then it's asking for what's the webhook URL. That's the one that Zapier generated. So I'm going to paste that in here, and I'm going to save. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the funnel. I have the name, the test name here, and I'm going to click the yellow button, notify me. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Zapier, and we're going to test the trigger, and that should send over the test that we just made. So if I look here and I scroll down, I can see Jim and Jim@test.com. That's the name and email I just entered. And you can see it's also got some other information which might come in handy if I want to track that. Like it tells me the funnel name, Zapier Fundamentals, which page it was on, the landing page, the URL, different information which might come in handy. But for our purposes today, we're just interested in Jim and Jim@test.com. Okay, so we caught the hook. Now we're going to go to the next step, which is we're going to add this information into Daylite, my CRM. Okay, I've got Daylite, and what I want to do is I'm going to find person. Let's see, I think That's the one. Okay. Now we're going to choose, so text field, we're going to choose email address because we know the email address of the that the person just entered. And if we click here on the text field value, we have data, contact email, jim@test.com. So it's going to look for this email in Daylite, and if it doesn't exist, we're going to check this box at the bottom, create Daylite person if it doesn't exist yet. So I'm going to check that, opens up some more fields, and now we have first name, which is a requirement, and we know the first name is Jim, so I'm going to select that. And then here it says the last name is required. And if you recall on our funnel, it just asks for first name. So what we have to put something in even though we don't know their last name. So I'm just going to put X because we need something. And then so I have first name, last name, and then we can update anything else we want here, but we want to add the email address. And that would be jim@test.com. And that's pretty much it. There's lots of other stuff we could do here to add into Daylite, but I'm just going to click continue, and I'm going to test this step. And let's go over to Daylite. And if the test goes well, we should see the new person show up here. While we wait, let's check this. Okay. Actually, while we wait here, I want to do, there was one thing I wanted to add, which was the category, lead qualified. So, category. Here we go. Lead qualified, yeah. I wanted that to be in place. I'm going to retest this step. There we go. Okay, so now we have Jim X showed up here, needs a category, so that's because I forgot to add the category, so I'm just going to put lead qualified here for now. But as you can see, when I went back to the Zap, I forgot that I want to add the category when this person is being added to Daylite. But there we go. So what we've done is we've leveraged a webhook in Zapier to take information that someone enters into our funnel, which is their first name and email address. We catch that webhook that's sent from Systeme.io, and we use Zapier to process that and add it to our CRM. So that's quite handy. And now I don't know their last name, so this smart list called last name equals X is just going to fill up with people, but it's a way for me to know that not only are they a qualified lead, but if they're in this list, it's because they came from the funnel and I don't know their last name. So it could be something I could follow up with in an email, for instance, is, hey, here's our complete form. Go ahead and fill in your full name and any other information that might be helpful. So that's webhooks and Zapier. I hope you found that useful.